Hello, everybody. My guest today is Fabian Pincas. He is the founder and CEO of a company called Odoo. Fabian, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yes.
All right. Open source business apps. Tell us more about what you guys are focused on at Odoo.
So we basically do a suite of business apps from CRM, website builder, accounting, manufacturing, inventory. Those are individual business apps, but if you install several, they fully integrate to each other's.
Yep.
We have a SaaS version as well as an on-premise version.
Okay. And if you break down your last 12 months revenue versus SaaS versus on-prem, how much was SaaS?
It's more or less 50-50.
Oh, 50-50.
But I would say that even the on-premise are SaaS. It's just hosted by someone else.
Got it. So both SaaS model. And can you give me a general sense of scale today? What are you doing per month?
We are in ARR. We are $2.6 million per month and we're 65% per year.
Okay. Sorry, you cut out there. So you're doing 2.6 million per month?
Yes, in MRR.
And what were you doing exactly a year ago in December of 2017?
In billing for the year will be around $44 million.
Sorry, what was your growth rate over the past 12 months?
Growth is 64%.
Okay, 64%. So you were doing about 1.5 million per month exactly a year ago.
Yes.
Something like that, yeah.
Yes.
And then grew that, you said 64%?
Yes.
That's great. Very good. Help us understand kind of more about where this growth is coming from. How are you signing up customers?
We do have two channels. One is direct, so on our SaaS platform directly, and we sell with the partners who offer the product on premise.
Okay. So
and they both grow at the same speed.
What kickback are you paying partners? Is it a 20, 30, 50% commission?
It ranges from 10 to 20.
Okay,
the smallest have 10 and the largest have 20%.
10 to 20%. Interesting. Okay, and put all this on a before we get too much into the numbers here, put this on a timeline for us. When did you launch the company? What year?
I launched the company 13 years ago when I went back from the university.
Oh, that's great. So 2005.
Yes, and I bootstrapped the company, so it was very slow at the beginning. I was alone. Second year I was alone, then 2 people, then 4, then 8. So it took a lot of time.
How many people today?
580.
580. And where's everybody based?
50% are in Belgium, 30% are in the US, San Francisco. We also have an office in New York, and the rest across Asia and Middle East.
Okay, very good. So Belgium, US, New York City, and remote locations. And are you still bootstrapped today, or have you raised capital?
No, we raised 10 million euros, so $12 million.
Okay, 12 million bucks. And why'd you decide to raise? I mean, it sounds like you've had a lot of success growing it basically with little capital in the company. When did you decide was the right moment to raise?
So when we were 100 people, we were doing 1 million in revenue per year. We wanted to switch the business model because we started as a service company doing implementation service to our direct customer in Belgium. And then we wanted to switch to a more vendor style business model. Selling subscription instead of selling services. So we had to stop all our service activities from one day to another and focus on building the partner network who would do the service for us.
Yep.
So it was quite risky. And at that time, so we raised $4 million to do the pivot.
Interesting. And what year was that?
It was in 2010.
2010. Okay. And so how many customers do you have today?
11,000.
Okay. 11 million would be a lot.
we actually have 4 million of users because we do have a lot of free users because of the open source nature of Odoo.
Yeah. So if I take your 2.6 million you're doing per month today, and I divide 11,000 customers into that means each customer is paying on average $200 or $300 a month. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And your current run rate, I can take 2.6 million times 12. You're doing about 31 million in annual run rate right now.
No, we do more because we have non-recurring revenues.
I see, but just recurring, 31 million.
Yes. Yeah.
And the non-recurring, what is that? Installation fees for the on-prem stuff?
Yeah, it's implementation service. So import of the data, training, coaching, customization.
Interesting. Walk me through how you scale that. How many people on your 580 person team are in charge of kind of the onboarding one-time revenue stuff?
Close to 120.
120. Okay, interesting. And is that a lower? Is that do you run cohort analysis on people that do have professional services on their account versus not? In other words, is lifetime value or churn lower when you do like have implementation fees on an account?
Yes, it changes a lot.
How much?
If they don't have a service, we have a churn of 30% on the first year. If they do use the service, we are closer to 15-20% depending on the size.
And blended together, what's your annual revenue churn?
Sorry?
Blend all your customers together. What's your annual revenue churn?
It's close to 20%.
Okay. And what?
It's decreasing a lot because we changed the business model 2 years ago. So most of the customers who churn today are the ones who purchased based on the old business model.
Yeah. Okay. So 20% revenue churn, I assume that's gross annually. Do you have any expansion revenue?
Yes, it's 30%. So the net churn is around -10.
Got it. Yeah. So 30% net expansion, which means if I take 30% net expansion minus 20% churn, you have 110% net revenue retention.
Yes.
Where's most of the expansion coming from? What are you upselling?
Two things: more apps. So they expand in the company. So they would start with a CRM, and then they want to use the website or accounting or inventory. And the number of users. Usually they start small and put more people on board.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that's remarkable to me, Fabian, about your business model is, I mean, you have apps for email marketing and invoicing and a CRM. But you could say, okay, how do they beat Mailchimp on email marketing? How do they beat FreshBooks on invoicing? And how do they beat HubSpot's free CRM on the CRM? Because these are companies built basically exclusively around those things. Would you credit your success really to the fact that it's all in one?
Yes. If you need one application, you have a lot of competition. Like as you said, if you need task management, you will have Trello and that kind of things. But if you need 2 or 3 apps, there is nobody more. You have to go to the ERP like SAP or Microsoft Dynamics, who are very complex. So as long as you need 2 or 3 apps, it's much easier to use Odoo rather than trying to integrate different apps together.
Yeah. When you go out and sign up a new $200 or $300 a month customer, what's your fully weighted CAC look like?
Say that again.
What's your fully weighted customer acquisition cost?
It depends if it's direct or indirect.
Okay.
If we sell directly, it's 2,000 euros or $2,400. If it's through a partner, it's 1.2.
Okay. Now, does that 1.2 include the kickback to the partner?
Yes.
It does.
Includes the commission of the partner.
Okay. And what % of your new sales are direct versus indirect?
It's 50-50.
50-50. Okay. So if we did get to a blended number, it'd be something like $1,800 US.
Yes.
But even though you have 2 very distinct cohorts, direct and indirect.
Yeah.
So worst case, $2,400, you're going direct. Your payback period there is what, about 12 months to get your money back?
Yeah, actually, it's as we sell per year, most of our contracts, with the payback is instantly.
That's great.
But yes.
I want to dive more into where you're spending that money when you do go direct. But first, I have to ask you, you said you listen to the show, right?
Yes.
Well, why do you listen? And you know what you're getting into. Why'd you agree to come on? I'm enjoying this, by the way, but I'm curious why you agreed to come on.
I think I was curious.
Curious about what? You want to say, is Nathan a nice guy?
No, I never did the show, so I wanted to know if I could do it, or for me, it's more an experience for myself.
Well, listen, how do you feel you're doing?
The question is for you, actually.
I think you're doing great. I think the audience is going to love it. It's my job. A lot of people come on and kind of spout random stuff like we're the best or we're number one. It's much more valuable when someone like you comes on and shares numbers and then lessons on top of the numbers. So let's continue doing that. $2,400 CAC. Where do you spend that money typically? What's the growth channel you use?
We don't spend a lot in marketing compared to our competitors. We do spend a lot in the product. So usually the best marketing impact we have is when we release a new version. Every time we release a new version, from 1 month to another, we have an increase of the lead by 20%.
Okay, and when you say new version, you mean you're adding like a new app like invoicing, or you're reworking the whole architecture?
No, a big new version. So all the apps are improved at once. We do that once a year. So once a year, we have a growth of leads from 20 to 25% just because of the new version.
Interesting. Okay, when you do, like, how much money are you spending per month today directly on like paid activities?
Or nothing. Search engine activities, maybe 20K per month. And some billboard and some other ads, maybe 20K extra.
Sorry, what was the second one?
Billboards on the street.
Oh, billboards.
Billboards.
Interesting. Okay. And how do you track if the billboards work?
It's impossible to track. It's just word of mouth. We hear people talking about it, and that's it.
Yeah, Fabian, we saw you on the billboard. Like, amazing. We signed up yesterday.
We don't know, but we don't spend that much. We spend a few $100K per year on that kind of thing. So,
yeah. Well, to you, by the way, I look at it as a percentage of revenue, right? So yeah, very small percentage of revenue for you. Now the fixed number for someone maybe only doing 10 grand a month in revenue, that would be a very large number, but makes sense for where you're at in terms of scale. Are you guys profitable today or no?
Yes, we do $500,000 cash flow positive every month.
500K cash flow positive per month. And what do you do with the 500? Does it just kind of sit in your bank account, or how do you choose to reallocate that?
Yeah, that's my biggest problem nowadays.
Yeah,
it sits on the bank account, and I think it's an issue. I want to recruit faster, but we have difficulties recruiting faster good developers.
Would you ever deploy that capital and go buy companies to add to your product suite?
No, it's not our strategy. We prefer to grow organically, mostly because we have a strong company culture, and I'm not sure if we buy it, we will just spread the culture. It wouldn't help. We have a way to operate which is very different from traditional companies, and I'm afraid that if we buy, we will have complexity merging the different people.
Tell me about that. How are you different than other companies in terms of how you're operating your culture?
It's extremely R&D, so everything is managed by developers, no meetings, extremely efficient. It's difficult to explain. There is no manager. It's mostly leaders, and the people have more power than the manager usually.
Okay.
And so if someone comes with a title, nobody will listen to him.
So of your 580, how many are engineers?
50%.
50%. Okay. So over kind of 270, 280 are engineers. And let's say break down the team that builds out your CRM app. Who's the leader and how many team members and how do they work together?
We are not organized per app. We have organized across all apps. So if you take one app like Mailchimp to send email or task management, I would say 85% of what you have to do to build this app is generic. You need a mobile interface. You need to have a front end with drag and drop stuff, the UI. You need a back end, and you need the subscription mechanisms to make your customer pay. All those things are generic. So what is very specific to an app is like a CRM is probably 5% of the value is in the CRM. The rest isn't the same.
Yeah.
So our team are more transversal. We do have people focused on some big apps like accounting. I think I have 10 people maximum, which is one of the biggest.
Interesting. Tell me quickly about your pricing page. It's one of the more unique pricing pages I've seen where I put a number of users at the top, and then you have about 30 different check boxes of things I can check to add on my apps. And then you have extra integrations like FedEx, DHL, and EasyPost and eBay. I mean, is this page effective for you?
Yes. It took us a lot of years to understand the right way to do it. So basically we have two axes. One is per user, and you pay according to the number of user, and one is per application. So like if you need a CRM, it's a few dollars. If you need an accounting, it's a few dollars, not related to the number of user, but and then you have a price per user.
Yep. And then you essentially, it's a matrix and you multiply the two, and that's how you get your price point.
No, we sum the two, not multiply.
You sum them both.
Yes.
If I put 10 users in though, right, and I select your invoicing at $12 a month and your sales at $12 a month, you're saying, it would take, so 12 plus 12 is 24 times the 10, correct? 10 users.
No, it's not times, it's plus.
I'm confused. You're multiplying users times the total sum of all the per seat. That's what your thing's doing right now. I'm looking at my screen, 10 users for 2 products, each $12 a month. So it's $24 a month for invoicing and sales. For 10 users.
Yeah, you have 10 users plus $20. I don't have the same numbers because the numbers depend on the country. So
you're saying the total pricing would be $30 a month?
Let me check. I will check in your country, in United States.
I think this might be a language thing that you and I are getting tripped up on, because your pricing page is telling me 10 users times 24 is $240. Then a user discount of $40. So the total per month is $236.
What app did you choose?
Invoicing and sales. Yeah. I just want to get to the point of you're multiplying number of users times.
But invoicing and sales is actually free because for us, if you use only a few apps, it's free. So let's add CRM. You will have 10 users multiplied by $20. So
exactly. So it is multiplied.
Users.
It's multiplied.
Just for the users.
Yes.
And then the apps is added.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah. I thought we might just be getting caught up there. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, by the way, I love it. Your pricing page is built around your pricing axes, which I assume allows you to just drive incredible expansion of 30%, which you already articulated. So congratulations on that. Any plans to raise capital to date?
No.
Any plans to exit?
No, we might have a secondary exit to help one of our investors to go out, but we plan to. We have too much money. We don't know what to do with it. So
why would you do a secondary though, right? So why not just pay yourself out operating dividends out of the 500K in kind of cash flow per month?
It's not for me. One of the VC, one of the fund need to exit for its own reasons.
Would you buy them out as the company using your cash flow?
No, it's too much.
Oh, so you'd have to raise a little bit.
Yeah.
Would you ever look at venture debt?
Yeah, but no, never. We had regular debt, but not venture debt.
Would you consider venture? A lot of companies like Wistia are using venture debt to buy out early investors.
Yeah, that would be a lot. We are talking about hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh, so they're asking you to pay a big multiple on the 12 million they put in, not just help them recover the cash.
Maybe. I'm not yet. I don't. To be think.
Yeah.
No answer yet.
I basically just want to understand. So like they've put in 12 million and what you're saying is you've talked to them, they want to get bought out, but they want to get bought out at like a 10x multiple or like a 100x multiple.
Yeah.
And you're saying to raise that cash would be a lot.
Yeah, I think the cash will be way too much for the company to buy it, whether we use debt or not.
Yeah. Okay. Very good, Fabian. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Horowitz, the
hard thing about hard things.
Yeah, hard thing about hard things.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
No.
Number 3, what billing tool do you guys use?
Odoo.
What's underlying, like authorize.net or Stripe or what?
We have a mix according to the country. We use Stripe, we use Authorize and Ogon, Ingenico.
Spell it?
Ingenico.
Oh, yeah.
Ingenco.
Yeah. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
How many? Sleep 7.
Okay, it's good. And
I'd like to do more.
What's your situation, Fabian? Married, single, kids?
Married, 2 kids.
Married, 2 kiddos. And how old are you?
5'7".
No, you.
39.
39. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I don't know.
Guys, there you have it from Fabian. Started off as a services company back in 2005, then pivoted in 2010 into a SaaS company, now serving 11,000 customers that paid about $200, $300 per month, doing $2.6 million per month or about $31 million per year in terms of SaaS run rate, another $9 million on top of that in terms of professional services. They've done this by just raising $12 million in capital, cash flow positive every month, adding $500,000 in free cash flow to their bank account. 580 people based between Belgium, US, New York City, and other remote locations. 20% revenue churn per year. That's gross. 30% net expansion means he's got about 110% net revenue retention annually, spending $2,400 to get a new customer. So a 12-month payback period. Fabian, thank you so much for taking us to the top.
Thank you.